The name Braun Strowman likely brings certain images to mind. Within the WWE, it became synonymous with a particular kind of presence, the very one we will be exploring. On screen, he was presented as an avatar of brute force, an unsettling power that stood in contrast to the more methodical performers. His current reality, however, is a world away, unfolding quietly in rural North Carolina, where a country home is bathed in gentle light, surrounded by open fields, and life moves at a measured pace, far from the roar of the crowd. To see how a figure known for such intensity can inhabit a life of tranquility, one must start right here, at this home. Before we explore this peaceful existence further, it is necessary to trace the journey that made it possible. His was a lengthy career, built upon a series of choices over many years that slowly constructed the financial security he enjoys today. That story starts in Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, with his birth in 1983 as Adam Joseph Sher. His early years were not marked by privilege, and his path forward was anything but certain. He spent his childhood moving between small communities in Arkansas and Tennessee, part of a conventional family life defined by frequent relocation. Academically, he was unremarkable, and he did not show prodigious athletic talent. The most significant aspect of his youth was a profound physical transformation. As he entered his high school years, he underwent a remarkable growth spurt, a change so swift it was almost difficult for him to process. Athletics provided a necessary framework that gave him a sense of purpose and stability. Upon graduating in 2001, Sher's life lacked a clear direction. His early 20s were a period of uncertainty. To make ends meet, he took on practical jobs, working as a mechanic and providing security in Charlotte. Leveraging his physical stature, at that stage, income was about getting through the day, not building a future. Financial planning was absent. There were no savings or forward-looking strategies, just the immediate security that manual work could provide. An unsuccessful bid to join professional football in 2007 served as a pivotal moment. It became clear that raw strength was insufficient without the proper context in which to apply it. He found that context in the world of strongman competitions. Spurred on by local athletes in the late 2000s, Sher redirected his efforts. And from 2009 to 2011, his ascent in the sport was exceptionally rapid. In just a 2-year span, he turned professional, securing major amateur championships and earning a dependable, albeit modest, income for the first time. The earnings were not substantial, but their consistency was a new development. Beyond the financial aspect, the sport provided a framework for his physical gifts, granting him recognition and a sense of direction. This new visibility ultimately put him on the radar of WWE. In 2013, Sher took the next step, signing a developmental deal with WWE and beginning his training at their performance center. His initial years there were characterized by strict discipline and modest finances. While competing in NXT, his annual earnings were in the range of $50,000 to $80,000. Consequently, his financial net worth grew gradually, the result of careful saving from his salary rather than from any major earnings. The discipline of professional wrestling required a different skill set than strongman patience, precision, and relentless practice. He spent 2 years diligently learning the fundamentals of this new craft. A significant shift occurred in 2015 with his main roster debut as Braun Strowman. Introduced as part of the Wyatt family, the increase in visibility was instant. His yearly income climbed into the $200,000 range, supplemented by earnings from merchandise and television appearances. As he moved into a solo role during 2016, the persona known as the Monster Among Men began to fully form. This new identity led to improved contract guarantees, performance-related bonuses, and more frequent appearances at high-profile events. His annual income approached the $500,000 mark, and at this point, his financial situation started to reflect a sustainable career path, moving beyond simple wage earning. The period from 2017 to 2018 marked the most significant phase of his career and financial expansion. His involvement in prominent storylines, main event matches, and key victories, such as winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, greatly enhanced his status. Fueled by robust merchandise sales and bonuses from pay-per-view events, his yearly earnings grew to nearly $1 million. His total net worth surpassed the $1 million threshold, indicating not just high income, but also the successful accumulation of assets. It was during this time that his on screen physical presence converted most directly into significant financial leverage. In 2019, he secured a more substantial contract with WWE, reportedly guaranteeing an income of around $1.2 million annually. His standing remained solid even as the global pandemic disrupted live events in 2020. His victory for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 36 helped maintain his high profile and secure his income stream during that uncertain time. At the close of that year, his accumulated net worth was nearing $2.5 million, a figure achieved through steady work rather than excess. The forward momentum came to a sudden halt with his release from WWE in 2021. His earnings decreased significantly, becoming reliant on independent events and short-term contracts. He ended that year with an income far lower than his recent highs, and the growth of his net worth stalled. However, this interruption provided an opportunity for reflection. Upon his return to WWE in late 2022 with a new agreement, he brought with him a revised perspective. His new position offered stability with a less demanding schedule and a sufficient income that did not require him to strive for his previous career heights. Throughout 2023 and 2024, his annual earnings held steady between $1.5 and $1.8 million. Concurrently, he started to explore other ventures. The cooking show Everything on the Menu on USA Network established a new source of income based on his personality, not physical punishment. As his WWE agreement came to an amicable end in 2025, his work in television and personal appearances had grown enough to enable a departure from the ring free of financial concern. By 2026, Braun Strowman is no longer a full-time competitor. His income is now derived from media projects, independent appearances, and selective engagements, producing an estimated $500,000 to $800,000 per year. After spending over 10 years in the world of professional wrestling and thoughtfully moving into the entertainment industry, he achieved a solid financial foundation, with a net worth estimated around $5 million. This level of security was not a matter of chance. It was built over many years by channeling his physical power into a structured, disciplined approach and maintaining deliberate control over his career's trajectory. It is from this mindset of control that we now explore his North Carolina residence, a place where that intensity transitions into a more serene, everyday pace. Here in North Carolina, near the baseball field Braun Strowman now uses for training, his home sits peacefully on the shores of Lake Norman. The environment is distinctly rural. Tucked into a tranquil cove, the house is naturally buffered from the activity of the main lake, providing a sense of seclusion without feeling disconnected. Braun selected this location to establish a home base after leaving his full-time WWE schedule, viewing it not as an escape but as an opportunity to recalibrate. Instead of imposing on the landscape, the property harmonizes with its environment. The home is framed by trees, and while the water is a constant presence, it never dominates the view. Behind the house, the terrain gradually descends, naturally drawing one's gaze toward the water. Winding through the completely fenced backyard, a stone walkway leads straight to a private dock situated close to the shoreline. This progression from land to water feels seamless and intuitive, suggesting the lake is an integral part of daily life, not just a feature to be visited. Everything here revolves around that connection. A pontoon boat is moored by the dock, intended for leisurely afternoons on the water. Nearby, kayaks are ready at the shore, prepared for more peaceful excursions. As evening approaches, focus turns to the fire pit by the lake, a natural gathering spot for impromptu get-togethers and conversations that last well into the night. The atmosphere itself invites guests to relax, stay a while, and lose track of time. The home's porches subtly influence Braun's daily rhythm. He makes regular use of these covered spaces, which are located at both the front and back of the house. He frequently begins his day on a porch with coffee, overlooking the lake, and often concludes it there as dusk settles. This routine is entirely organic, not staged. This is just the way Braun's life unfolds in this space. The interior of the residence achieves a balance between comfort and adaptability. On the main floor, a bedroom and a full bathroom make everyday living straightforward and convenient. This functional design is ideal for having guests or for enjoying a simpler routine that does not require moving all through the home. The space feels neither extravagant nor restrictive. With direct access to the outdoors, the lower level's walkout basement functions more like a continuation of the main living area than a segregated floor. This large, versatile room serves as both a bedroom and a recreational space, changing its purpose whenever necessary. The space reflects Braun's current lifestyle, fluid, adaptable, and unbound by rigid definitions or roles. For Braun Strowman, his home on Lake Norman is not a symbol of his accomplishments or a showcase for his success. It is not designed to broadcast his achievements or maintain a public persona. Instead, its purpose is to foster equilibrium, rest, and mindfulness. While strength is still a part of who he is, it does not define the atmosphere of his home. The home itself seems to temper that high-octane energy, giving him the space to embrace a more tranquil pace. This house by the lake is a clear reflection of where Braun is in his life today. In contrast, his property in Florida represents a past chapter, one that continues to be a part of his story. The Florida house. This residence is tied to a distinct period in Braun Strowman's career. He purchased it at the peak of his WWE tenure, a time defined by relentless travel, mandatory training, and decisions dictated by the intense physical requirements of his profession. Located close to the WWE Performance Center on the quiet shores of Lake Avalon, the home is a direct reflection of that era. Ordered, efficient, and engineered to support a high-intensity lifestyle free from interference. Externally, the residence gives an impression of deliberate control rather than ostentation. The single-story building is situated on nearly 1.5 acres of completely enclosed land. Its low, expansive design emphasizing spaciousness and seclusion over architectural height. Beyond the trees and the expansive yard, the lake is a visible and grounding element, adding a sense of tranquility without being the central focus. Stepping inside, one is met with an immediate sense of openness. Sunlight streams unimpeded across high-quality vinyl flooring that extends continuously throughout the primary living spaces. The architectural philosophy promotes an open feel without creating a sense of sparseness. There is a logical progression from one area to the next, resulting in a floor plan that feels both intentional and practical, echoing the way Braun lived during the most rigorous phase of his career. The home is anchored by its kitchen. At its heart is a large waterfall island made of quartz, impressive in its size, yet minimalist in its design. Hardware with a gold finish and appliances in matte white provide a touch of warmth without being ornate. It is a space clearly intended for frequent use. It is a place for preparing meals efficiently, for casual conversations while standing, and for a life that moves ahead without interruption. From the kitchen, the view extends into the dining and living areas, where a wood-burning fireplace provides a sense of substance and equilibrium to the open concept layout. The living area is oriented towards the outside. Expansive windows frame views of the backyard and the lake in the distance, integrating the natural surroundings into the home's daily atmosphere. Even in moments of relaxation, the setting maintains a feeling of openness, which fosters a sense of command over one's environment rather than a withdrawal from it. The main bedroom serves as a personal space for rejuvenation. With a door leading right out to the back patio, it provides instant access to fresh air and tranquility. Internally, 2 walk-in closets facilitate organization and structure. The adjoining bathroom, however, shifts the mood to one that is serene, healing, and deliberately unhurried. A deep soaking tub, a tiled walk-in shower, and twin sinks are designed not for show, but to aid in physical and mental recovery. A similar design philosophy applies to the other bedrooms. Everyone includes its own ensuite bathroom, complete with contemporary fixtures and crisp tile. These spaces are well equipped for visitors, teammates, or anyone needing short-term accommodation, offering flexibility, privacy, and comfort. Established trees offer a natural canopy, and the spacious yard slopes down to a private dock on Lake Avalon. Close by, a fire pit is situated perfectly for relaxed evenings that unfold organically. Here, the days conclude quietly, and time seems to expand, allowing conversations to unfold at their own pace. His Florida home isn't a departure from the public figure of Braun Strowman, rather it's a foundation for it. The house was constructed to accommodate a life defined by rigorous physical exertion and a demanding schedule, serving as a reflection of a time lived at maximum intensity. Though the tempo of his career has since changed, the home stands as a quiet testament to that era built for substance, not for show. This philosophy of substance extends beyond his home and onto the road, evident in the vehicles he currently owns. His car collection? Considering Braun Strowman's formidable stature, one might expect his garage to house a collection of large, imposing vehicles. However, The vehicles he has chosen by 2026 paint a far more nuanced picture. The collection begins with a Smart Fort Woe. It's a car so compact that it seems to vanish when he stands next to it, a choice that feels intentionally modest. He acquired this particular model from around 2012, in the initial phase of his WWE career, not long after his time in NXT, as he was adapting to a completely different lifestyle. Braun frequently drove it for local trips and personal tasks, occasions where attracting notice was unnecessary. Featuring 2 seats, a small engine, basic color choices, and a present-day value around $10,000, the Smart Fortwo embodies a sense of practicality and groundedness. The car's purpose isn't to create a visual contrast with his size, but rather to facilitate his daily routine. This theme of understated utility leads us to the next vehicle, the Toyota Camry. This well-known sedan gained recognition from its use in backstage segments with Alexa Bliss during the Monster and Goddesses era of WWE's Mixed Match Challenge. The Camry, by its nature, is not designed to be a focal point. It functions more as a backdrop, supporting the action around it. With its comfortable cabin, steady performance, and predictable handling, it's an ideal vehicle for navigating long days and demanding schedules. Valued today at approximately $22,000, the Camry symbolizes equilibrium in Braun's daily life, a life that requires consistent, dependable, and unobtrusive mobility. It is only after considering these two practical vehicles that the Ford F-150 Raptor comes into view. This truck stands as the most substantial vehicle in his collection. Acquired in May of 2020 from Mullinax Ford, this is the vehicle Braun turns to when he desires a feeling of space that aligns with his own physical scale. Its height, width, and solid build provide a sense of openness on the road, making it fitting for extended journeys and for times when he seeks to connect with his own size and power. With a current valuation of about $75,000, the Raptor doesn't represent his daily routine, but rather specific moments when he chooses to embrace his physical presence and energy. Braun Strowman's vehicle collection isn't about extravagance or high performance. Instead, it follows a more understated rationale. It speaks to how he navigates his life away from the public eye, the way he balances his immense size with a sense of moderation, and how his decisions are now guided more by everyday needs than by a need for spectacle. Moving beyond his personal mobility, the next area of focus is Braun's approach to giving back, which is characterized by intentional and sustained philanthropic work. Philanthropy. Based on our compiled information, since approximately 2018, Braun Strowman has been a consistent participant in charitable endeavors, donating both his time and his own money. As of 2026, his cumulative contributions to charity are estimated to be around $30,000, a sum built up over years of regular and dedicated involvement. An early example that illustrates this commitment occurred in 2019 at a polar bear plunge event. On that occasion, Braun entered freezing water to help raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County. The fundraising target was initially set at $2,000, but the effort brought in almost $1,400 in just the first 12 hours. The final amount surpassed $2,500, with some reports indicating the total was over $3,000. The entirety of the proceeds was allocated to support local youth education and athletics programs. In 2020, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, Braun adapted his support to a more direct method, personally financing 1,000 meals for healthcare workers at Advent Health and Orlando Health. This contribution, confirmed to be from his personal funds, was valued at an estimated $3,000 to $5,000, based on average meal costs. His most significant recorded donation took place the following year, in 2021, at the Blizzard Brawl event in Waukesha, Wisconsin. There, Braun committed all the money generated from his meet and greets and autograph signings to the United for Waukesha Community Fund, raising approximately $9,000, with some accounts noting the final tally was more than $10,000. From 2022 through 2024, Braun's charitable giving continued in less public ways, which included around $1,000 for hurricane relief in Florida, dedicating proceeds from merchandise sales to the Boys and Girls Club and participating in Make-A-Wish experiences. As he moved into 2025 and 2026, he sustained this level of contribution through various means, including proceeds from everything on the menu, charity auctions, and other fundraising activities. These more recent contributions have already been accounted for in the total figure mentioned at the start of this segment. For Braun Strowman, charitable work is not about public relations campaigns. It is an ingrained habit, one that is practiced quietly, consistently, and is intended to endure long after his time in the public eye. Now, shifting focus from his philanthropic activities, we return to the private life that he leads away from these public endeavors. Personal life. By 2026, Braun Strowman is navigating a distinct period of transition, having moved away from the demands of a full-time WWE schedule. His life now proceeds at a different tempo, marked by a less crowded calendar, fewer appearances in arenas, and a greater focus on the personal routines he sometimes shares on Instagram. While his formidable size and strength are still present, they are no longer the central organizing principle of his daily existence. He has referred to himself as being in a state of semi-retirement from professional wrestling, not a complete departure, but a shift away from a life of continuous competition. This change of pace has created space for him to pursue other interests. A prominent example is Everything on the Menu, his food and travel series on the USA Network, which first aired in 2025 and was picked up for a second season in January of 2026. As he journeys across the nation, he's often found in local eateries, sharing food and conversation, which reveals a gentle and composed nature that is a world away from his monstrous in-ring persona. Beyond the world of television, he's also begun dedicating his efforts to new business projects, one of which is his own tequila label, Quintaliza. More recently, he has cultivated a deep appreciation for baseball, frequently sharing clips from the batting cage where, by his own lighthearted account, he rarely fails to connect with the ball. This pursuit says a great deal about his current perspective, which prioritizes a balanced life over constant public exposure. This is a choice rooted in deep personal history. 12 years prior, Cher had been without a home. The WWE provided him with a constructive direction, financial security, and the opportunity to piece his life back together. Today, he demonstrates that deep sense of thankfulness not through words, but through the mindful construction of his daily life, where professional work, business, rest, training, and personal fulfillment are all held in careful balance. This current phase of Braun Strowman's journey is no longer centered on demonstrating his power, but on how to live with that power in a way that is true to himself. If this look at the person behind the persona was different from what you might have imagined, we would appreciate hearing your thoughts in the comments section. And please remember to like and subscribe, and continue following our channel to explore what life holds after the roar of the crowd has faded.